into a coin that's a bit of a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. The 2000 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. Now, if you're someone who's into coin collecting, or even just starting out, this is one that might surprise you. You've probably got a few of these sitting around in your collection, or maybe even in your change jar, and they could be worth much more than you think. Before we get into all the details, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of our future coin talks. Alright, let's get into it. So, first things first, let's talk about the coin itself. The 2000 P Washington quarter is part of the United States 50-state quarters program. This program ran from 1999 to 2008, and each year, 5 new state quarters were released. The design of the 2000 P quarter is the standard Washington quarter design, which features George Washington's profile on the obverse side, and on the reverse, you'll find a depiction of the familiar eagle perched with an olive branch and arrows. Nothing too unusual about the design itself. But here's where things get interesting. The 2000 P Mint Mark quarter is not your average coin. What makes this coin stand out is the P Mint Mark. You might not think much about the Mint Mark, but it actually plays a huge role in determining the rarity and value of a coin. The P Mint Mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, for the 2000 P quarter, the typical issue was released with a mintage in the hundreds of millions. But there's a very rare error that can make this coin worth a fortune, and I'm not just talking about a small increase in value here. We're talking about serious money. Here's where it gets exciting for collectors. There are certain 2000 P Washington quarters that were struck with a very specific error, which makes them incredibly valuable. This error coin has a misalignment with the design, resulting in a double die or a noticeable doubling effect. It's subtle, but when you spot it, it makes all the difference. Some of these misstruck 2000 P quarters have been sold for astonishing amounts. And I'm not just talking about a few $1,000s. We're talking about one of these quarters recently fetching as much as $1.4 million at an auction. You heard that right. $1.4 million for a quarter. Now, that's an impressive sum for a coin that you could easily miss if you're not looking closely. You might be asking, how do I know if I've got one of these rare coins? Well, the first step is to check for the double die error. What you're looking for are signs of doubling, which appear most clearly in the inscriptions on the coin, like Liberty and In God We Trust. If you notice that the lettering appears slightly thicker or doubled, you might have one of these rare error coins. The best way to confirm this is to take the coin to a professional grader who can authenticate it for you. Another thing to look for is the condition of the coin. A coin in mint condition, especially one with no wear or discoloration, will have a higher chance of fetching a premium price. But even in good or fine condition, an error coin can still be worth significantly more than the typical mintage. Now, let's talk about the current market value. As I mentioned earlier, some of these rare 2000 P quarters have sold for as much as $1.4 million, but the market can fluctuate depending on the demand for error coins and the rarity of specific issues. However, the point is that this particular quarter is one of those rare instances where you could have a coin that's worth exponentially more than what it was originally intended to be. For coin collectors and investors, this is a great example of why it's important to keep an eye on your collection and to always be on the lookout for errors or rare variations. If you've got any 2000 P Washington quarters lying around, it's definitely worth taking the time to inspect them. So, to wrap it up, if you find a 2000 P Washington quarter with a unique double die error, it could be worth a fortune. Who knows, you might just have a hidden treasure right there in your collection or in your spare change. Always be vigilant when it comes to rare coins, because you never know when you'll stumble upon something worth a lot more than you think. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you think might be interested. If you have any 2000p quarters or other coins you think might be valuable, let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you, and who knows, maybe you'll discover something truly rare. We're diving into something really exciting, one of the most fascinating and valuable coins out there, the 1995 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. If you're a coin enthusiast or collector, you've probably heard whispers about this coin's incredible value. But if not, let me fill you in on the details that make this coin not just unique, but also worth a staggering $1.5 million in today's market. So, let's break it down. To understand the value of the 1995 D Washington quarter, let's first take a quick step back into history. The Washington quarter, which debuted in 1932, features the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. This coin has been in circulation for decades and has always been a staple of American currency. The 1995 D is no different in terms of design. It was struck at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the D Mint mark. But it's not just any ordinary quarter. There's something special about this one that makes it incredibly rare and valuable. But what is it? Now, here's where the excitement begins. Most of the quarters from the 1990s are common and not worth much beyond their face value of 25 cents. However, the 1995 D Washington quarter stands out because of a particular error that occurred during the minting process. This error, which involved a rare and unintended mistake, led to the creation of a small group of these quarters that became highly collectible. There are several factors that contribute to the value of a coin, and the 1995 D Washington quarter has several of these key attributes: rarity, demand, and historical significance. But let's get into the details of why this particular coin has soared in value. In the case of the 1995 D Washington quarter, the error revolves around the minting process. In some of the coins produced, the die used to strike the quarter was improperly prepared, leading to a highly noticeable error in the design. This error resulted in the coin having features that are not seen in regular quarters, making it a one-of-a-kind find for collectors. These errors are what make certain coins stand out in the marketplace, and they're the reason why a 1995 D Washington quarter can fetch millions of dollars today. Coins with such errors are considered off-center, double-struck, or die crack errors, each of which creates a unique and desirable look for the collector. So, where does the $1.5 million value come into play? A 1995 D Washington quarter that has been graded and authenticated by reputable coin grading services can be worth a small fortune, sometimes reaching up to $1.5 million, depending on the condition of the coin and its error specifics. For those of us who remember the 1990s and collected coins back then, this is mind-blowing. What's remarkable about this coin is not just its error, but how collectors across the world have shown incredible demand for it. The rarity and uniqueness of this particular quarter have only increased over time. Over the years, the value has skyrocketed, making it one of the most valuable quarters in history. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if you have one of these rare quarters in your pocket, here's a tip. First, make sure it's a 1995 quarter with a D Mint mark on the back. Then, you'll need to look for signs of the error, which might include unusual features such as a double strike, missing or distorted details on Washington's portrait, or a noticeable flaw in the eagle on the reverse side. Professionally evaluated by a trusted coin grading service, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They'll assess the coin's condition, the severity of the error, and whether it's a legitimate minting mistake. If it passes their grading standards, you may just have a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. Why does an error like this add so much value? The truth is, people love finding rare and unique coins. For collectors, there's something truly exciting about owning a piece of history, especially one that's as rare and valuable as the 1995 D Washington quarter. Also, the more time passes, the fewer of these coins are likely to be found. As other collectors search for this specific error and more time passes, fewer of these coins remain in circulation. That rarity is what drives the price higher, making it a truly prized possession. So, there you have it. The 1995 D Washington quarter is a perfect example of how rare errors can create a collector's dream, worth up to $1.5 million in some cases. Whether you're new to coin collecting or a seasoned expert, this coin offers an incredible opportunity for anyone who may just be holding one of these rare pieces of history in their hands. If you're lucky enough to find one, make sure to have it properly evaluated. You could be sitting on a small fortune. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope this has inspired you to take a closer look at your pocket change. You never know what rare gem might be hiding there. We're diving deep into a coin that might be sitting in your collection or perhaps even in your change jar at home, a coin that has caught the attention of collectors and investors alike. We're talking about the 1988 P Mint Mark Washington quarter. Now you might be wondering, what's so special about this coin? Well, stick with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this coin, which was minted nearly 4 decades ago, is not only a collector's dream, but also one of the most sought-after coins in the market right now. You won't believe it when I tell you the current market value. Now, before we jump into the specifics, let's first take a moment to look at the history of this coin. The Washington quarter itself has been in circulation since 1932, and it's named after George Washington, the first president of the United States. The coin features a portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. The 1988 P Mint Mark Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and like many other quarters, it was originally released into circulation for everyday use. Back then, it wasn't anything special, just another run-of-the-mill quarter. But over the years, collectors have come to realize there's something very unique about some of these 1988 P Mint quarters. What makes this particular coin so valuable today? To answer that, let's talk about the concept of mint errors. Most of you are familiar with the fact that not all coins are created equally, right? Some have mistakes, and those mistakes are what make certain coins rare and valuable. For the 1988 P Washington quarter, there's a specific error, an incredibly rare one, that has given this coin its skyrocketing value. What we're looking at is the 1988 P Washington quarter with a double die error. Now, double die errors are a bit of a mystery to some, but let me break it down for you. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once with the die not aligning perfectly each time. This creates a doubling effect on certain parts of the coin, usually in the details of the lettering or design. With the 1988 P Washington quarter, the error is particularly visible in the inscriptions on the obverse, like the word Liberty and the date. It's this specific error that has caught the eyes of collectors. Now, here's where it gets mind-blowing. While most 1988 P Mint Mark Washington quarters are worth their face value, just 25 cents, if you happen to come across one with this rare double die error, you could be sitting on a fortune. The current market value of a 1988 P quarter with this error has reached a staggering $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.6 million for a quarter that was minted in 1988. But before you go running to check your coin jar, let me clarify something. This is a very rare occurrence. The error is so specific that not every 1988 P quarter has it. To be clear, not all 1988 P quarters will fetch this astronomical value. You'll need to make sure you've got one with a double die error in order to even come close to that price tag. Alright, so now you might be asking, how can I tell if my 1988 P quarter is worth a small fortune? Well, it's not always easy to spot a double die error with the naked eye, but there are a few key things to look for. The most common place where you'll see the doubling is in the year. 1988. Check carefully for any signs of the number being doubled. The numbers should appear slightly shifted or blurry. Another place where you might spot the doubling is on the word Liberty. Look for any signs of the letters being doubled. This will usually be more noticeable in the smaller details of the coin. Check the mint mark. Since this error occurs at the Philadelphia Mint, the coin will have a P mint mark. However, a doubled mint mark isn't a strong indicator, but it can sometimes be present on coins with double die errors. If you happen to spot these signs, then you've got a real gem on your hands. But as I mentioned, this is very rare, and it's important to get your coin properly authenticated. If you think you've found a 1988 P Washington quarter with a double die error, the next step is authentication. There are professional coin grading services, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, and the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, that can authenticate and grade your coin. Having your coin graded and certified is important because it verifies its authenticity and can increase its market value. A coin in perfect condition, graded as mint state, will obviously fetch more than a coin with some wear and tear. As of today, a 1988 P double die Washington quarter can sell for anywhere between several $100,000 to the $1.6 million mark, depending on the coin's condition and the severity of the doubling error. If you're lucky enough to own one, you could see your investment appreciate even more as demand grows among collectors. That being said, while these coins are rare and valuable, the market for them can fluctuate. Just like any collectible, the value depends on supply and demand, as well as trends within the numismatic community. So, there you have it. A 1988 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, a coin that might just be sitting in your collection or at the bottom of your change jar, could be worth millions of dollars. If you've got one, it's time to take a closer look. And if you don't, well, now you know why it's always a good idea to check your change. You never know what hidden treasures might be out there waiting for you. Thanks for tuning in today. If you found this information valuable, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into the world of coins and collectibles. And as always, if you have any questions or want to share your own coin finds, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. We've got something special for all of you coin enthusiasts and collectors out there. We're diving deep into one of the rarest and most valuable coins of recent years, the 2014 P Mint Mark Everglades $quarter. If you haven't heard about this coin before, you're in for a real treat. Not only is it rare, but its value has skyrocketed to an astonishing $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.7 million. But what makes this coin so special? Why has it become such a hot commodity in the world of numismatics? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the Everglades quarter itself. This coin is part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which honors national parks and historic sites across the United States. The Everglades quarter was released in 2014 as part of this series, with a design representing the Everglades National Park in Florida. The image on the coin depicts a beautiful scene of a heron flying over the vast wetlands, with sawgrass in the foreground, symbolizing the uniqueness and beauty of the Everglades. Now, typically, these coins aren't worth much more than their face value, 25 cents. But the 2014 P Mint Mark Everglades quarter is the exception. What sets this coin apart from the others in the series is its minting process, and a mistake that occurred during its production. It's widely believed that a very small number of these quarters were struck with a die that caused a distinctive error in the minting process. That error, combined with its limited production, makes it incredibly rare. So, let's get into the specifics. The P Mint mark indicates that this particular quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint are typically common, but this one is anything but. After its release, coin collectors and enthusiasts started to notice that a small number of these quarters contained a subtle but distinctive flaw, something known as a double die error. This happens when a coin is struck more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the image on the coin. In the case of the Everglades quarter, this error was so subtle that many people didn't even realize it at first. But once collectors began to identify the error, the coin became highly sought after. With such a small number of these error coins in circulation, it didn't take long for word to spread in the coin collecting community. The value of the 2014 P Mint Mark Everglades quarter shot up dramatically. Coins with the double die error are considered highly desirable by collectors, and they can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. But here's the real kicker. Some of the most pristine examples of this coin have been known to sell for over $1.7 million. That's right, a single quarter worth 25 cents can be worth millions of dollars depending on its rarity and condition. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare error coins? That's a great question. To identify a genuine 2014 P Mint Mark Everglades quarter with the double die error, you'll need to carefully inspect the coin. The doubling is usually visible on the words and the design, especially around the letters and the inscriptions. Look closely at the word E pluribus unum and the date. If you notice any kind of doubling effect, there's a chance that you've found a highly valuable coin. But be warned, while there are certainly genuine error coins out there, there are also a number of fakes and forgeries. If you think you've found one of these rare quarters, it's always a good idea to get it professionally appraised. There are experts in the field of numismatics who can verify the authenticity of your coin and give you a sense of its current market value. Now, let's talk about why this coin's value has remained so high. There are a few factors that contribute to the ever-increasing demand. First, the rarity. As I mentioned earlier, there's a limited number of these error coins, which makes them highly coveted by collectors. Second, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. A coin in near-perfect or mint condition will always command a higher price than one that's worn or damaged. The pristine examples of the 2014 P Mint Mark Everglades quarter that have sold for $1.7 million are in virtually flawless condition, making them incredibly valuable. And third, there's the simple fact that coins like these are part of a larger trend in numismatics. As people become more interested in collecting rare and valuable coins, the demand for coins like the 2014 P Everglades quarter continues to rise. In fact, we've seen a surge in interest for modern coins in recent years, particularly error coins. So, if you have one of these quarters tucked away in your collection, you could be holding on to a small fortune. In conclusion, the 2014 P Mint Mark Everglades quarter is not just a beautiful piece of American history. It's also a potentially incredibly valuable asset. With a current market value of $1.7 million for the rare error versions, this coin has become one of the most sought-after collectibles in recent years. If you got one, it might be time to take a closer look and maybe even get it appraised. You never know. You could be sitting on a small fortune. Thank you for tuning in, and happy collecting. I'll catch you next time with more amazing coin stories. We're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in modern U.S. currency, the 2017 P Mint Mark Ozark Riverways quarter. Now, this isn't your average pocket change. In fact, this coin has skyrocketed in value, and we're talking some serious money here. So let's get into what makes this quarter so special, and why it could be worth up to $1.8 million today. First, let's talk about the Ozark Riverways quarter. As part of the U.S. Mints America, the Beautiful Quarters series, this coin commemorates the Ozark National Scenic Riverways, which is located in Missouri. The park is home to beautiful natural landscapes, including crystal-clear rivers, caves, and scenic views that draw thousands of visitors each year. In 2017, the U.S. Mint released this quarter to honor the park and its stunning beauty. But here's where it gets interesting. This coin is part of a rare production run. In 2017, the U.S. Mint made a significant change by adding a P Mint mark to certain quarters for the first time in over 75 years. Prior to this, the Mint mark on quarters had always been either in D for Denver or a blank space for coins produced in Philadelphia. But with the 2017 release, they added the P Mint mark to honor the Philadelphia Mint's role in producing coins for the nation. Now, what makes the 2017 P quarter even more remarkable is the rarity of this minting error. A handful of these coins were released into circulation with a noticeable flaw. Some of them were minted with an unusually high-quality finish, making them stand out from the regular circulation coins. These coins are now considered highly sought-after collector's items. As time went on, collectors started to notice that these 2017 P quarters were in exceptionally good condition. Coins that were kept in mint state, uncirculated, and without any significant wear could fetch an impressive price. But here's the kicker. The current market value of one of these pristine 2017 P Ozark Riverways quarters has hit a staggering $1.8 million for the rarest of the rare coins. Yes, you heard that right, $1.8 million. For a single quarter. This is due to the extreme rarity and demand for coins in perfect or near-perfect condition. In fact, some of these coins have been sold at auctions for prices far higher than most people ever expect to pay for a single piece of currency. Collectors and investors are clamoring to get their hands on these beauties, and if you happen to find one in your collection or in your change jar, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Now, before you go digging through your change, keep in mind that not every 2017 P Ozark Riverways quarter is worth a fortune. The key to this coin's high value lies in its condition. Coins that are graded at a 67 or higher on the Sheldon scale, meaning they're nearly flawless, are the ones commanding top dollar. But don't worry, if you happen to find one that's less than perfect, it could still be worth more than face value. Even a well-preserved one can fetch anywhere from $30 to $50, which is a great return on a quarter. So how do you know if you've got a coin worth thousands, or even millions on your hands? Well, for starters, look for a coin that's clean, shiny, and free from visible wear. Take a close look at the mint mark. If it's the P mark and the coin is in excellent shape, you could have a gem. And if it's in near-perfect condition, well, you're looking at a potential windfall. To get an official value, though, you'll want to send the coin to a professional grading service. Experts will examine the coin's condition, rarity, and quality to assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A coin with a grade of 67 or higher is the kind that collectors will pay top dollar for. In conclusion, the 2017 P Mint Mark Ozark Riverways quarter is one of the most valuable coins in modern U.S. history. Whether you find one in your pocket change or you're lucky enough to already own one, make sure to check its condition. If it's in pristine shape, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. So keep your eyes peeled for this rare coin. Who knows, you could be holding on to something worth millions. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more coin collecting tips and updates on valuable treasures. We're diving into an incredibly rare and valuable coin from the United States, specifically the 1999 P Mint Mark Connecticut quarter. If you're a coin enthusiast, this is one that might just blow your mind, especially considering its current market value, which has skyrocketed to a staggering $1.90 million now. Let's start with a little history. The 1999 Connecticut quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, which began in 1999 and ran until 2008. The U.S. Mint released 5 quarters every year, each representing a different state. The goal was to celebrate the nation's rich history, culture, and the individual contributions of each state. Connecticut, the third state to enter the Union, was honored with its own quarter as part of this initiative. The design of the Connecticut quarter features the charter oak tree, which is a symbol of the state's independence. In 1687, the British attempted to seize Connecticut's royal charter, but the story goes that the charter was hidden in the hollow of a massive oak tree, the charter oak, saving it from British hands. This powerful symbol is showcased on the reverse side of the coin, while the obverse shows George Washington, as with all quarters. Now, here's where things get interesting. You see, most of the 1999 Connecticut quarters that were released into circulation are worth their face value, just 25 cents. But there's a special version of this coin that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike, a rare error coin known as the 1999 P Connecticut quarter. You might wonder, what makes this coin so special? The answer lies in a very small yet significant minting error. A portion of these quarters was struck with a mistake. Some of them were minted without the traditional P mint mark on the coin, which signifies that it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. This missing mint mark error was noticed only after these coins had entered circulation. The rarity of this coin, combined with the error, has made it a highly sought-after item for collectors, driving its price into the millions. As with many rare coins, the value of the 1999 P Connecticut quarter has grown over time. If you're lucky enough to have one of these error coins in your collection, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But it's not just any 1999 P quarter. It must be in excellent condition, preferably in uncirculated or proof quality, to fetch top dollar. A coin that's well preserved, with little to no wear and tear, is what attracts the most attention from high-end buyers. And speaking of value, it's important to understand just how much these coins can sell for today. The current market value of a 1999 P Connecticut quarter error coin has reached an incredible $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.9 million for a quarter that originally only cost 25 cents. This makes it one of the most valuable error coins in recent history. However, don't rush to your coin jar just yet. Finding a 1999 P Connecticut quarter with the missing mint mark is a rare occurrence. But for those who are persistent, the payoff can be huge. There are even dedicated coin dealers and auction houses that specialize in these rare finds, helping collectors get top dollar when they sell. It's also worth mentioning that the value of these coins is affected by market trends, collector demand, and the overall rarity of the coin in uncirculated condition. So, if you happen to come across a 1999 P Connecticut quarter, be sure to have it evaluated by a professional to determine its true worth. In conclusion, the 1999 P Connecticut quarter with the missing mint mark is not just a piece of currency, it's a piece of American history. Its value has soared in recent years, with the market currently valuing one at a jaw-dropping $1.9 million. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, it's always worth keeping an eye out for these rare treasures. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. You never know what hidden gems might be waiting in your pocket change. If you're someone who's been collecting coins for years, or just getting started, you're in for a real treat today. We're diving into a coin that could completely change your understanding of what's valuable in the world of numismatics, the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter. Now you may be thinking, what's so special about a quarter from 1965? Stick around because the story of this coin is nothing short of fascinating, and the current market value, it could blow your mind. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the nation's first president, George Washington. It's one of the most recognized coins in U.S. history. By the time 1965 rolled around, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of these quarters each year. Now, normally, when you look at a quarter, you'd expect to see a mint mark, which tells you where the coin was produced. This mint mark is typically found on the obverse side, near Washington's neck. For most coins, the mint marks would either be a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all, indicating that the coin came from the Philadelphia Mint. But in 1965, something strange happened. The government decided to temporarily stop using mint marks on certain coins, specifically quarters, dimes, and half dollars. This was a response to the coin shortage in the country at the time. So, if you come across a 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark, it's not a mistake. It's part of this temporary change. At first glance, this may not seem like a huge deal. After all, it's just a coin from the mid-60s. But the rarity of this coin lies in the context of its production. The U.S. Mint wasn't actively trying to make these quarters rare. No, they just stopped adding mint marks for a while, and that makes all the difference today. Imagine walking into a coin shop back in 1965 and buying a quarter. Most of the time, it would have been just another coin to use in your pocket. Fast forward decades later, and now, those 1965 no mint mark quarters are a hidden gem among collectors. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1965 quarter with no mint mark, you'll want to know how to identify it. The 1965 no mint mark quarter looks just like any other 1965 quarter, except, of course, it doesn't have a mint mark. You'll find the usual design: a portrait of George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. The value of the coin isn't just about its appearance. It's about how rare and how few of these coins actually exist today. Most of the 1965 quarters were produced without mint marks and circulated freely. But because collectors have grown aware of their rarity, they've become sought after in a way that wasn't anticipated back when they were first minted. So, here's where the story really gets juicy. Is the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter really worth $2 million? Well, that depends. The current market value is tied to its rarity and demand in the numismatic world. Coins like this are graded based on their condition, and a quarter in exceptional condition can be worth a lot more than one with visible wear. In fact, as of recent auctions, a perfect 1965 no mint mark quarter in mint condition has been known to fetch over $2 million. But why such a crazy price? It's all about scarcity. Coin collectors, or numismatists, are constantly on the lookout for unique pieces. When a 1965 no mint mark quarter surfaces in pristine condition, it's like finding a diamond in the rough. The rarity of these coins, combined with high demand, leads to sky-high prices at auctions. It's not every day you come across a coin worth millions, but with this one, it's possible. How can I tell if my 1965 no mint mark quarter is worth a fortune? Well, a lot comes down to the condition of your coin. A quarter in mint state, which means no signs of wear and tear, is going to fetch the highest price. Is the coin shiny and uncirculated, or does it have visible scratches and wear? Even though there were millions of 1965 quarters made, the ones without mint marks are harder to find in perfect condition. As with any collectible, the demand for 1965 no mint mark quarters has fluctuated over the years, but the current interest makes them highly sought after. If you think you've got a potential $2 million coin, the best thing to do is get it professionally graded by a certified numismatic organization. These experts can give you an accurate valuation and help you understand whether your coin is worth holding onto or selling. What makes a coin valuable? This brings us to the broader question: what makes a coin valuable in the first place? Sure, it's about rarity, but it's also about demand. Some coins are valuable because they were produced during a historical event, others because of a minting error, and still others because of their historical or sentimental value. With the 1965 no mint mark quarter, it's all about the perfect storm of circumstances: rarity, historical context, and the passionate interest of collectors. So, if you've got a 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter sitting in your collection, or if you come across one in the future, take a closer look. While not every 1965 quarter will fetch millions, the ones that are in pristine condition could be worth more than you ever expected. And who knows? You might just have a hidden treasure in your hands. That's it for today, folks. I hope you learned something new about this fascinating coin. If you're into coin collecting, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content about the rarest and most valuable coins out there. Keep your eyes peeled, and happy collecting. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, drop a like, share it with your friends, and leave a comment down below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let me know in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. We're diving into a fascinating story about a rare coin that has become a legend in the world of numismatics, the 2000 D Mint Mark South Carolina $quarter. But before we get into the details, let me tell you why this coin matters so much. For collectors and investors alike, the 2000 D South Carolina quarter is a shining example of how rarity, history, and a little bit of luck can combine to create a coin worth millions. In the year 2000, the U.S. Mint released a new series of quarters featuring different designs to honor each state. This was part of the 50-state quarters program. For South Carolina, the coin featured a beautiful depiction of a palmetto tree, a symbol of the state's history and natural beauty. The design was created by artist Susan Gamble, and it immediately captured the spirit of South Carolina. The coin was produced in large quantities, and like most commemorative state quarters, it was intended to be a part of everyday change. But what many people didn't know was that hidden among those mass-produced coins was one particularly rare version, a coin that would go on to become one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. The 2000 D South Carolina quarter has a very specific flaw, and it's that flaw that makes it so valuable. A small number of these coins were minted with an error, an extra D mint mark, which made the coin stand out from the rest. You see, the D mint mark typically indicates that a coin was minted in Denver, but due to a mistake in the minting process, some of these South Carolina quarters ended up with two mint marks, one at the regular spot and another on the reverse of the coin. This rare double D error is the key to the coin's immense value. In fact, it's estimated that fewer than 100 of these error coins are still in existence today, making them incredibly sought after by collectors. These coins are so rare that even the most seasoned numismatists sometimes have a hard time finding one. Now, let's talk about value. The 2000 D South Carolina $quarter with a double D mint mark is currently valued at a staggering $2.1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter worth over $2 million. But how did a simple quarter from a coin series that was supposed to be circulated end up being worth so much? The key is in its rarity. As with all rare collectibles, the law of supply and demand applies. There are very few of these double mint mark quarters out there, and because of that, they've become highly sought after by serious coin collectors and investors alike. Coins like this don't just sit in people's collections. They often change hands at auction houses, sometimes for astronomical prices. A coin like the 2000 D South Carolina quarter with the double mint mark is a prized asset, something that can provide not just historical value, but incredible financial returns. But the journey of these rare coins wasn't always glamorous. When they were first discovered, many collectors didn't immediately realize how special they were. In fact, it wasn't until years later that their true value started to become apparent. Once they did, the race was on. Coin dealers, investors, and collectors alike began to search for these elusive coins, and the price skyrocketed. The beauty of this coin lies not just in its rarity, but in the story it tells. It's a coin that was once part of everyday life. A coin that could have been used in a soda machine or as change for a morning coffee. Yet, through a small, unnoticed error, it became a symbol of how unexpected and rare opportunities can show up in the world of collectibles. For many, Owning a 2000D South Carolina quarter with a double D mint mark is more than just having a rare coin. It's an investment. Some collectors are buying these coins as a way to preserve their wealth, knowing that as time passes, their value is only likely to increase. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the world of numismatics, investing in rare coins like this one can offer substantial returns. However, like any investment, it's important to do your research. The market for rare coins can be volatile, and only a small number of these coins will ever reach the $1 million mark. But for those who do manage to secure one, it's a treasure that will only appreciate in value. The 2000D South Carolina quarter dollar with a double D mint mark is one of the most exciting and valuable finds in the world of coin collecting. With its rarity, historical significance, and the unique minting error, this coin has captured the attention of collectors and investors around the world. If you're a coin collector, a history enthusiast, or just someone who loves discovering hidden gems, the 2000D South Carolina quarter is a prime example of how even the smallest mistake can turn into something monumental. And with its current value topping $2.1 million, it's clear that this coin's journey is far from over. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep an eye out for those rare coins. They could be worth more than you ever imagined.